You know what? I didn't have to do anything.
Yeah.
I just pointed a camera at it. We were so lucky, I cannot tell you.
It looks stunning, and thank you.
It is a stunning, stunning looking country. And it was very nice for things like Lake Quill, where the helicopters are flying over the lake, for the lake to just, there was one moment where it was smooth as glass and the sun was hitting it and all. I'd like to say I planned that.
Of course you did.
Yeah.
You guys can book the weather.
Yeah.
I did look at that one shot and thinking, I just want a still from that just blown up on my wall, because it was quite I love helicopters, and it just looked absolutely stunning. So congratulations anyway.
Thank you.
And again, as we're talking about New Zealand, you have so many choices and so many locations, and I know you hate repeating yourself, except that it's joyous to have you back doing another Mission Impossible. And why was New Zealand such the perfect choice for doing those helicopter stunt scenes?
Well, to be perfectly honest, New Zealand was the only country that would let us do the crazy things that we were asking. No one else wanted us to come to their country. And there's such a lovely pioneering spirit about the Kiwis who were like, sure, come on in.
She'll be right, mate.
Yeah, just don't do it over anybody's house, and just try not to hurt each other. And it was, the support we had was incredible.
It certainly showed, and when you released the featurette a few months ago, we got a sense for how full-on the scale was of the stunt work that you were doing.
Yes.
It occurred to me after watching last night that the greatest Mission Impossible of all might be just ensuring your lead man.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Yeah, I'm glad I'm not in that job.
Yeah, I'm sure. Do you go out each day thinking, how can I kill Tom?
Not how can I kill him. I go out every day thinking, how can I almost kill him? Like that's the secret. What can I throw him off of, crash him into, run him over with? And it's falling. The real challenge, it's not falling down something. It has to be something he falls off of. There's a distinct, and I remember telling my location coordinator that. I said, you could fall down a mountain, but you have to find me something you can fall off of.
Noted.
Yeah, and that was very challenging.
New Zealand and Norway, good locations for doing that kind of thing. There are two very specific shots, and we're not going to give away too much. When I say shots, I mean stunts. Obviously, flying the helicopter was extraordinary, but also kind of dangling underneath it by a thread. That was something else again, wasn't it?
Yes, and a happy accident. We were scouting New Zealand, and there was an airfield in the middle of nowhere. We had a scene that was ultimately, I knew we were going to cut from the movie, but we were still scouting locations for it just in case. And I said, oh, it's really far away. I don't want to fly out there. I know I'm going to cut the scene out of the movie. And my assistant director said, we've already organized it, so let's go out there. And I got off the helicopter, and I saw another helicopter taking off with a long line and a payload on it. And I suddenly had the idea of, I know how Tom gets in the helicopter. I said, we're done, everybody get back in the helicopter, we're leaving. And it was only by going out and scouting the locations that the landscape sort of told me what the movie was going to be.
That's incredible. With something of this scale, we have this idea that it's all planned to the nth degree. So you're rolling with punches while you're shooting.
Yeah, well, you know, the Reese Valley location where the village, the medical camp and the village are. I was there 3 days before. We were still rearranging the camp, and I still didn't know what was going to happen there. I knew roughly what had to happen there, but the interactions between the characters and where all that stuff took place, I didn't know what was happening inside that house. None of that. I didn't know any of that stuff was going to happen. You just remain open to it, and you keep confronting it.
As part of the fact that you are such an extraordinary writer for the big screen, when you bring that to actually heading up the project as a director, does that help when you talk to me about sort of allowing that kind of creativity?
It helps enormously. It increases the stress exponentially, but I'm never waiting for pages. You know, I can be there coming up with ideas and very quickly sit down and write those ideas out. Whereas I think working with another writer, it's always tricky to find a perfect sync with anybody. And on this movie, there was simply no time.
When you talk about perfect syncs, having Tom want to work with you again, first time repeating a director in a film, and it feels like a real, we've used the word culmination, but that's what it feels like. It's coming together of a whole lot of stories within this franchise.
Yeah.
What was the most important thing? I know the stunts and the action are so huge, but what was the most important thing to get the heart beating of this for you?
Emotion. It was really important to us. We knew the action would come. We knew we knew that the spectacle of the movie, we knew the locations were really beautiful. The trick was to make the movie just more emotionally moving and gripping, and that's what we were chasing after all the time.
What you also did was bring 4 kick-ass women in very strong roles, be they small.
5 when you count.
Yeah, true enough.
Our Alex Benecek, the cop in Paris.
Very, very good point.
Yeah.
Do you feel that, not even right now, but it's just a prerequisite now that we need to have strong women in action films?
I think I think it goes all the way back to Maureen O'Hara and John Ford and Mary Pickford in silent films, and there have always been strong women in films. It's a matter of making the effort to build films around them, and I think it's if you're a man writing a movie about men, it's your tendencies tend to go that way, and you have to stop and you have to remind yourself that there's another half of the audience. And so coming into this story, I said to Tom, we can populate this movie with lots of women characters, and here's what I want to do. The most important aspect that I discovered writing Ilsa's character on The Last Mission, and also Rita for Emily Blunt in Edge of Tomorrow, the question was put to me, how does a male writer write strong women characters? And I thought about it for a moment. I said, you have to give her her own problems to deal with. It's as simple as not having her problems be the problems of the star of the movie. And if you look at all 5 of the women that are in the movie, they all have their own things to deal with that have nothing to do with Ethan Hunt. And that's really what differentiates those characters. And then it helps to cast extraordinary actors in those roles. And all 5 of the women are amazing.
Yep, they are. They're fantastic. That's a really great insight. Sorry, I've been wrapped about